Do we know what? Okay. Back to Bon Jovi Discussions, and I have Jamin and I have Ash on, and we are going to talk about the cruise that we all went on together as roommates, and we don't have Angela on here.
I texted her, and
she didn't text you back.
She did not text me back. She was like, "Hell no."
She just lost our friendship.
She said, "I don't want to talk to them dorks." No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Just lost our friendship, went out the window. Well, so now we have 3/4 of cabin mates. We're all cabin mates.
Cabin numbers. I don't remember. It's like 1.
I thought it was 4 something.
What?
Oh, it was 4 something. I'm amazed I found my way back to the cabin every night, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Angela made her way back after she got drunk.
Yeah, a couple times. Today.
I have my luggage tag from the cruise.
Ooh, I have mine.
I still have mine.
So,
yeah.
All my stuff is in LA though, because I'm technically I'm not in my bedroom. It's my niece's bedroom, so all my stuff's in LA. But
so let's talk the cruise. Let's talk about the first day.
Let's talk about. Okay.
Yeah, the first day was
when Ash and I were trying to find each other, and we were like texting each other because we were still at dock.
We were. And
we were texting each other. I was like, "Where are you?" It was just like, "I'm in an elevator." I'm like, "I'm in an elevator too," and I didn't see Ash, and I'm behind her and Angela, and there's
I knew it was you, but I didn't know it was you. I was like, I'm talking to Angela. I was like, I think that's Jerry.
Yeah.
She's like, is it? I'm like, I don't know. So I just waited for you to say my name.
And then, so you said that you were standing out in front of the elevators, and so I'm in the back of the elevator, and I come out, and there's Ash and Angela, and they kept going on and on and on about how hot I was and all that, and I was like,
yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
and then we spent like an hour trying to find Jamin, because I met Jamin before I met you and Angela.
Yeah, you had set up like a lunch table, and I did the same thing Ashley did, where I was like, I think that's Jerry, but I can't tell because I'd never met you in person before. Yeah, so it took me like 15 seconds of like, and then, like, okay, there you go.
I don't look like anybody else, so I think it'd be pretty easy to point me out.
But sometimes,
I only had a Facebook profile picture to go off.
Yeah, true.
It's different in real life. You're like, oh, they kind of look like their picture.
Yeah.
But Jamin and I met before the cruise.
Yeah, we met in New York at the MSG show.
By complete happenstance. Remember we met after it? And we were on the street, and then we ran into you, and I was like, what are the odds that we run into each other in New York?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, the crowd was so big and everything. So, yeah, the chances of that is wild.
That was cool. My first memory... I remember getting on the boat. I was terrified to get on the boat. I don't know why. Like, it was, I don't know. I was scared. Like, walking up the what do you call it?
The ramp.
The ramp, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what, like, my very first memory was.
Me.
It was just walking onto the boat. I was just so impressed by how big the boat was.
Yeah, and there was that high five lady, like, giving everyone high five.
Oh, yeah.
Jane. That's Ash's first memory.
She gave me a high five.
No, you and Angela were actually late getting to the boat.
We were so late. I'm surprised we...
And that is one thing that I have to really say on this, is that Ash's middle name on the cruise should have been late.
I was late.
You were late for almost everything.
I was late for the second Jon show.
Yeah, you missed at least 3 songs on the second Jon show.
I missed 2 songs.
Well, you guys didn't even sit with me on the second night. Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're still on first day. There was a
reason why. First day. I remember running onto the boat and seeing all this stuff. They had like in the main part of the boat, there was like a setup with like stuff, jackets and guitars and stuff like that. And I remember that. I ran up to that. And I remember they had those weird Jon cutouts that everyone was real excited about.
Taking selfies with them, yeah.
I think the only person that didn't take a picture with one. I was like, we're getting the real thing in 3 days.
Oh, I was so excited to take a picture with those. I was like, this is my chance to get a selfie. Yeah.
Yeah, those were.
Go ahead, buddy.
I just was impressed by all the memorabilia on the ship, like the guitars that they used on tours and all of John's jackets.
Yeah.
Like they had his Captain America jacket, and I was so excited to see that in person. I posed with it. It's not a very good picture because the flash on the glass case and everything, but yeah, I was just so impressed by all the memorabilia they had. They even had his U-571 uniform and everything.
Yeah. And that was the thing I was going to add was, you know, I don't know if you guys have done it, but usually every tour I do like maybe 5 to 10 shows. And some of those shows I do VIPs. So like in the VIP parties, they have like some of John's coats that he's worn. And so before the cruise started, I was kind of worried that they were just going to show the same coats, which they kind of did. They still showed the 2013, what do you call it, Captain America coat, the New Jersey, blah, blah, blah. But so I was kind of excited that they kind of did show a lot more than just that.
I remember Matt posting a lot about how he was pulling stuff out of the vaults and all that, and got some good stuff, I guess.
Yeah. The New Jersey guitar might have been my favorite thing, like with the New Jersey logo on it. Every time I walked by it, which was like 12 times a day, I had to stop and look at it.
The coffee place was right there. I mean, wasn't it? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, it was next to the Starbucks. They actually had Starbucks on board, which was nice.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I loved that.
Yeah, he played that at I think a benefit concert back in 2000.
That was the 9/11 thingy.
Yeah, and I was like the plaques that they had, and you know, like I don't know, it was just kind of cool. To, like even Jamin said, the U-571 uniform that he wore. I thought that was really cool. Okay, moving forward. Then what? We all eventually met up.
I have a video
in the room, and we were like, "Wow, this room is tiny."
Yeah,
I have that video when we couldn't find the light for the bathroom, and Angela was like freaking out.
Oh yeah, you got to post the one of me making the penny.
I posted that video. I'll post it again, but it was pretty.
That video was hilarious. There was people that were walking by and like just looking at you guys like, what is going on?
I was like, I don't know these guys.
Oh, the I don't know what to call them. The crew on the boat. They would like walk by to like make sure everything was okay.
Yeah.
I remember we scared them like a couple times.
Trying to think what else. First night we all know. I think Jamin and I we went and saw
Collective Soul
together.
Yeah, so good. They were really impressive.
Yeah, you and Angela were doing something else, and Jamin and I went to because it was me, Jamin, and Laura. I remember how we all met up with each other. I found Ash and Angela in the room, and then we all went to go get a bite to eat. And then Jamin texted me, and then we all met up in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember this shit. Like, I remember, like, very select things, but I have the memory of a goldfish. But I believe you.
Yeah, okay. So
I was going to like write down memories, but they've all stayed in my head so well that I haven't even had to.
And for people who are watching, just so you guys know how awful Jamin, Ash, and Angela is, this is how awful and terrible they are. They made me sleep on the floor.
Yeah, for the 2 hours of sleep you got per night.
Jared, because you didn't sleep. You were never there.
Originally planning to like trade every night, but you never came to bed. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay in the comfy bed then.
What happened? You were just the last one to come in the room. What were you calling it? You were calling it like the gurney bed, or you were calling it something?
The gurney, the cot.
It rolled out.
Yeah, because like it was a 4-night cruise, and I remember the first night I didn't sleep at all. Second night, I think I got an hour. Third night, I didn't get any sleep. And then fourth night, well, I got like an hour's sleep during the day on the fourth day. And then like 2 hours.
I don't even know how you're alive. You didn't.
We
Like,
were
The funny thing is that I slept like crazy after the cruise. Like when I got to the airport, I had to wait a few hours, so I slept at the airport.
mm-hmm.
And then this is how tired I was. I got on the plane. I fell asleep as soon as I got on the plane. I didn't even know I was taking off. I woke up when we were landing, and then I had a layover, and I did the same thing taking off. I went back to sleep.
Oh man.
And then I got home the next day, and I think I slept for like 14 hours straight. It was crazy.
Oh, I got a memory. I got a memory of the first day we woke up on the boat, and you woke us up at the crack.
Oh, yeah.
It was like literally 4
It
a.m.
must have been
like 5 a.m.
something.
And I remember you were just like, "Okay, guys, wake up!" And you turned the light on, and Angela wanted to fucking kill you. And I think she was serious. I think she would have done it.
I still remember her popping up out of bed, and her hair was like all crazy, and
She was like, "Jerry, shut up, go away."
Yeah.
But she was actually the easiest one to wake up out of everything. Like she'd get right up. Like Ash would Jamin would like take a couple minutes to wake up, and he'd eventually get up.
On the first day, I got up on the first day because I forced myself to, because that was the day that I wanted to wait for the show. So that's what I did, get up that first day.
Okay, so let's get to that point. Okay, so the next day, the second day, after Ash took 3 hours to get ready.
It was like 3.5 hours, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It took forever. But I remember Jamin went to go do something. Angela was still sleeping. And I remember Ash and we went and dipped our toesies in the pool for like 2 hours. And then we were talking about the schedule. So wasn't it the day we saw Slippery When Wet, all four of us, like outside?
Yeah, it was the first day.
Yeah, we saw the first day.
Second day, first show.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the top deck.
Yeah.
And so Ash and I decided that we were going to camp out, and the JBJ show, the acoustic show, wasn't until 7 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
And we started.
Yeah. Well,
we started camping out at like 9:30 in the morning.
It was like 9:30 in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ash was like, "I'm not camping out here all day," and I was like, "Well, I will." And she's like, "Well, you're gonna..."
Because here's why. Because nobody, it was weird. It was like all these people were on the deck, but nobody wanted to be the one who like started the camp out, I guess, and nobody wanted to be the one who was like, I think until you were literally the first person. Like I remember we're debating it. Like we're like, should we go to the stage? Should we look like we're waiting? Should we just, if we don't go to the stage, maybe other people won't, and then we'll just all be able to walk around and come back, and nobody kind of knew what to do. And then I remember at one moment Jerry was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna be first," and he ran up to the front and just stood there. And I was like, "Okay, I guess we're gonna be front."
And
So,
and
that's why we were front and center that night. Yeah. Because see what happens when you take a chance and you're the first one to do something.
I don't know. It was like people were like trying to be. I don't know if people were just like scared, or we didn't know what it was. Okay, it was different than any other show because nobody knew what the etiquette was. Like, do you line up? Do we not line up? We're on a boat. The show's gonna happen here.
But the thing is that this was a big talk. Before the cruise on that Facebook group, the Caribbean group, where everybody said, "Okay, I'm gonna camp out." Everybody was like planning on camping out, and nobody did the first. I think, like Ash said, I think everybody was just scared to
nobody
start.
knew what to do. I think we were all trying to be polite to each other, and nobody knew what the etiquette should be. Yeah, and then we just needed one person to start it, and that person was you, Jerry.
Yeah. But thankfully that day we had Slippery When Wet play. We had Betsy Gold play.
Yeah.
And someone else, and then we got to watch them set up. So at least there was like stuff to watch the first day.
Yeah, I think they did the live karaoke that day too.
But I remember
the day after.
I think the live karaoke was the last day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I remember that was the first time we saw Betsy Gold.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And I didn't move my spot at all. I think you guys even brought me food and drinks and.
We did. No, that was the second day.
That was the first day.
It was the first day because I remember that I was gonna go to the Matt Noby thing, and Slippery When Wet was playing. Oh my God, they were playing like, what was it? Some really like rare song that Bon
Edge
Jovi
of a Broken Heart.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well the other thing's starting, but I kind of want to stay and hear this because it's a cover band, but you feel like, I don't know, for a minute you feel like it's really them playing it. So
It's really Chance's The Edge of a Broken Heart live.
I had to stay. So I was late to the Matt and Obi thing because I had to stay for that. It was really good. They were really good, Slippery When Wet.
Yeah, they did such a good job capturing John's mannerisms.
Yes.
Like,
oh yeah.
The lead guy especially was great at capturing the essence of the band. Like he even did when John sings live, he sings in different tones than the studio sometimes, and he does different things, and he captured all of that perfectly. It was so weird.
He did. He did. I like the guy who was supposed to be Richie though. He was cute. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, Ash was after him.
I was after
because she knew she couldn't get me.
Jerry.
I was just focused on Lorenza Ponce.
Oh man, she was hot. Both nights.
Yeah. And
okay, but on a serious note though, I remember we watched Slippery When Wet the first night. Yeah, it was the first night.
It was first night.
Yeah, and I remember we for some reason we didn't sit by each other. Oh, because Ash was fighting with someone
somewhere else, and then I came in later. I think.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
Yeah, Ash and I were beside each other the first night during the show, and then you left to go explore, and then you never came back because you found the casino.
I found the casino. Okay, so yeah. I was like, I literally said to Jamin, and I think Angela was with us too, and I was like, okay, I have to pee. I'll be right back. And I left, and I never came back because what happened was I went to find a bathroom, and I stumbled into the casino, sat down at a roulette table, and never left.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that'll happen.
Mm.
I liked that, like, Matt Bon Jovi and David Bergman were at the casino, like, every night, too.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. It was fun, that casino. You guys should have came down. I was in there, like, every night.
I came to visit a few times, but I never played because I was like, I'm already spending so much money, and I have the currency exchange to worry about. So I was already spending so much on that cruise.
I made friends with all of the this is kind of a tangent going to the second night, but I made friends with all the crew in there because the crew would go down there to gamble every night. And at the roulette table, there was one guy who was betting like big amounts of money on, I don't know if people know roulette, but he was betting on green. And he did it, and then I was like, well, I'm going to bet too. And then everybody put on, and then we hit, and the whole table won, and everyone was like freaking out. And then the next day, when I was going to the John show, the second John show, I was in the elevator, and I ran into the same guy. And he was like, I know you. You're the girl I was winning with last night. I was like, yeah, it was super cool. And then, like, they forced everyone out of the elevator because I guess they were going to go get John. And I had no idea what was happening. I was just like, okay. And, like, they started talking about it, too. Like, they were like, oh, yeah, we got to go get, you know, who. And I was like, who? What are you guys talking about? That's so stupid. Anyway, that's my story of how I almost rode the elevator up to John's room, I guess. And
yeah.
I feel like they were going to let me do it. They were like, oh, we know you. Hop on the elevator. And they wouldn't let anyone else on. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. It was a strange moment. Yeah.
Can you imagine that being in the same elevator as John?
Dude, I was almost
so crazy.
It's like they forced everyone else off the elevator except for me. They were like, you can stay, we know you. And then like we got to the floor the show was on, and they were like, oh, are you getting off on this floor? And I'm like, what would have happened if I said no? Like, no, I'm going all the way up. I don't know.
We're on the second day. Let's talk about, because I missed it because I had to be the trooper and stay put in front of the stage. So Jamie, I don't think you went. Ash, you did. You went to the Matt and Obi presentation?
I did.
Let's talk about that. Tell us. Enlighten us.
For a lot specifically, but I remember that they told a lot of funny stories. That was pretty much the whole thing. It was just them telling funny stories.
I heard they were really funny there. Like, I wish I would have seen it, but I was not going to miss my chance to see John live front row and center, so I had to camp out.
It sucks that they did it on the second day. You know, you had to choose between waiting to see John, or you had to choose to go see Matt and Obi, and you know, Ash got to go enjoy it while we saved her a spot.
Okay, the trade-off was I was bringing you food, though. I was
bringing food. You made up through that, yeah.
Ice cream, yeah.
Pizza and hamburgers. And...
Yeah. That was the
Remember, like,
trade-off.
my first hamburger, I told you like a little bit of mayonnaise, and you like bring me like half a jar of mayonnaise on my
I didn't know what to do. I was just grateful that you were standing there. I couldn't have done it. I have to pee like 100 times a day. I couldn't have done it anyways.
Oh, it's not. And I held. Well, that's TMI, I guess. But I did not leave my spot.
Nothing's TMI.
From like 9:30 to the show ended what? It started at 7. I think it ended at 8:30. So that was 11 hours of standing there.
Oh man.
But let's talk about the show. When JBJ came out. What was your
First of all, Jamin's reaction.
Jamin was like
immediately in my memory.
Yeah, I was crying. Yeah.
And I look over and he's crying and I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, that's the first time I ever seen Jon from the front row. I was like, and then I immediately felt bad because I've seen him from the front row like a couple times. But just seeing somebody have that experience for the first time was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was so close. Like when he walked up, it was like 15 feet away. And then when he was like in his spot, it was like 10 feet away. And I remember he was adjusting his mic as the crowd was screaming. And like I was crying and trying to look through my sunglasses. And all of a sudden he makes direct eye contact with me and just gives me this big smile.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You took Jamin's breath away.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Like I was watching my videos last night from the first show, and like what really annoyed me was like all those girls like constantly screaming.
Yeah, people did not know how to shut up during that. And even during the Q&A when you had to like listen for questions and answers, people were...
You couldn't hear the question, and sometimes you couldn't hear Jon answer the question because people were like, I love you, Jon. I love you, Jon. They're like, they said over and over and over. Like, I think he got it.
Yeah. I remember I had to be like Ashley's translator because I was closer to the question askers, and I heard all the questions, but you didn't hear any of them, so I had to like relay them to you.
I couldn't hear anything.
And a side note, I think that was the moment that Angela realized that how diehard of fans the three of us were. Like, I don't think Angela realized how big of fans we were until Jon came out.
No, she knew. She knew.
Yeah, because she was your roommate, but not like Jamin and I. Like, she really learned.
For people who don't know, Angela is my roommate. Or she was my roommate, and she went with us. And she wasn't really a fan, but she just wanted to go to have a good time. And because I was going, we needed a fourth roommate. And I think she was really cool about the whole thing. Like, she was very open to it. She wanted to hear all the songs. She wanted to know why that we liked them so much. And she went in very open-minded.
Angela was the perfect fourth roommate. She was a lot of fun, and she was really nice. Mm-hmm. And I remember she'd get drunk late at night, and I'd hang out with her, so she, didn't get in any kind of trouble. And her and I played. My favorite memory with Angela was we attempted to play golf or miniature golf on the top deck.
I think we were at the silent disco when they were doing that.
Yeah, it was like 2 a.m, and it was just her and I just playing golf and basketball. And
no, we were I think we were at the silent disco. I don't know.
We were exploring the ship a little bit, I think.
Walking around. Yeah, we were doing something.
Yeah,
well, we'll get to that. But so back to the Q&A. My favorite songs that he played was I was kind of hoping for either "I Will Drive You Home" or "Color Me In."
Yeah, and then we got
both. And I don't think. Here, let me look at the set list real quick.
I can't remember.
I'm doing that, Ash, because we all know what your favorite song was.
Is that when he did Saturday Night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like in my video of Saturday Night, Jon starts to sing, "Hey, my name is Jim," and then you hear Ash go, "Oh my fucking God."
Which is so on brand for me. Yeah. Oh my fucking God. I love that song. That song during
So the set list was, and he also added songs in. Bad Name, Prayer, Drive You Home, It's My Life, Lost Highway, Amen, Living in Sin, Saturday Night, Ash, Color Me In, When We Were Beautiful,
Mhm.
Joey, Who Said, I don't think he did oh yes he did. And he also did well, let me finish the set list. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
But he also did
No
part
one's
of
coming.
Always and You Want to Make a Memory.
Right, because they were brought up in the Q&A,
Yeah.
and he would just he would start the song and have the crowd do the next part, and then he would answer the question about it. That was cool.
Yeah.
When We Were Beautiful was.
Oh yeah.
It was I don't know, it was like different. It was like a different
Very cool.
More stripped back.
It was, I'd never heard that song like that, and I really liked it.
Yeah, that was one of my highlights actually. Just hearing it in such a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I loved like he closed with Hallelujah, but like I've seen Hallelujah live during Bon Jovi shows for like so many times.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I never have either.
But like it's like one of those songs where like I got tired of seeing it every show. But like my favorite.
Okay.
Well, but like I loved it on the cruise. I thought it was like the best performance I've ever seen him do Hallelujah.
It was amazing.
You know, like and like I was watching my video of it last night of him doing it, and like you could just see him get amped up to finish the end and like hold the notes and stuff. Like you just see him pumping himself up to do it, and it was so great.
Really did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamin, what was your favorite song played?
Other than Hallelujah, I think it was just a chance to hear Joey, because like I've never heard any song from Bounce live before, and when that started I was like, wait, no, is this real? Like it took me a second to realize that he was actually playing Joey, and then I was just in awe. And then that was probably my favorite, other than I Will Drive You Home and Hallelujah, because it was just so rare to hear that live nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is I'll Drive You Home.
Drive You Home was really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And you could tell he was really passionate singing that one. I think he likes singing the lesser known songs more.
Well, that's what's so great about seeing Jon solo is that we get all the rarities, because obviously all three of us were all big diehard fans, and so like when you go to a regular Bon Jovi show, you always get mostly hits, and when you go to a solo show, you get to see really rare songs like I'll Drive You Home or Color Me In or Joey and so on. So that's why I love going to solo shows or seeing KOS shows.
Yeah, and I love hearing him do covers, which was why the second night was so fun too.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say about the first show, the Q&A show?
The first show. No.
I think it was just so cool, like being that close to him and like reading his face and stuff. You could tell the questions he liked and the questions he didn't like by his facial reactions.
Well, what was the ridiculous question? I'm trying to remember the ridiculous question.
Someone asked if she could lick his tattoo.
Oh yeah.
Ew, yeah.
Like,
why?
Yeah. So
you could just see his face. He's just.
Yeah. Well, no, the question was because she said she had a follow-up question, and she was like, "Why did you get the Superman tattoo?" And then he told her, and then she's like, "My follow-up question is it okay if I come up and lick it?" And I think he was like straight out no.
Yeah.
What he said. But it was definitely something
I think he actually ignored, because there was two questions in one. So he ignored that question entirely and just answered the other question.
Like, what a weird question, like.
I don't know. Like, I know they're trying to be funny when they do stuff like that, but like, I don't know. I just think it's kind of annoying. Like, he's up there like trying to, genuinely sing and perform and feel known as an artist, and then you ask something stupid like that. It's just like,
that's the thing. Like, you only get like one chance to ever ask Jon Bon Jovi a question.
Ask your question, like shit, dude. No.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the second day. Now, obviously, I did the same shenanigans the next day.
You missed the Bahamas. That's what happened.
So first day, I sacrificed missing out on Matt Obi's presentation. Second day, I missed out on the Bahamas. But the show wasn't until 8 o'clock that night. Do you guys remember what time I started camping out?
I think it was like 9 a.m. or something.
It was no.
It was 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock.
The second day, weren't like more people camping out,
Yeah.
Which is weird to me because okay, the second day, for people who don't know the structure, the second day was the day we were docked in the Bahamas, and it was the day that we were allowed to get off the boat in the Bahamas. And I thought that people would want to do that, but I guess after the first show, people just wanted to see the second show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was quite a few of us that still got off the boat, including Tempt. We ran into them like going back up.
Tempt almost didn't make it back on the boat. I remember that. We were late.
We were both like Tempt and us both were almost gonna miss getting back on the boat.
Running to the boat. And I look over, I'm like, is that Tempt? And it's just all the band guys running with us. We're like, we gotta get on the boat.
Imagine getting trapped in the Bahamas, not getting to see the second show or meet Jon, and trying to figure out a way home with
Tempt, which would be okay with me because they were like my second favorite band on the boat. So
yeah, they were pretty awesome.
Well, so my day was that I got up at 7 a.m. and you guys wouldn't wake up. I remember I was trying to wake you guys up, and like I think Ash was like ready to punch me.
I was like, get the fuck away from me. Yeah.
And so I just went to go get some breakfast real quick with some other friends. And I remember going to the cafeteria. I saw that people were starting to line up. I was like, well, fuck breakfast. Looks like I'm camping out now because I was ready to go.
You didn't even eat breakfast?
No. And so I started camping out at like 7:30 in the morning. And I made some new friends. So like I didn't do the same thing I did like the first day. Like each of us took a turn to go get something to eat or go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so like I think like 2 or 3 times I'd like walk around the ship for a couple of minutes and then come back. So we would each hold each other's spot. And so that was 12 and a half hours. And that was an even hotter day.
Yeah.
Than it was the first.
It was so hot that day.
Yeah.
No, I heard a rumor that people were more
aggressive,
violent
on the second day.
There was a guy that was pushing women. He was like,
lovely.
Yeah, he was a real Prince Charming. But yeah, so I was like really bummed though that I didn't get to hang out with you guys on the beach because I really wanted to do that. But you know, I had to sacrifice one or the other.
Yeah. Well, I think my plan was, and I planned it, was to wait the first day to be close. And then the second day, I would just sacrifice being close to the show to go to the Bahamas because I'd never been to the Bahamas before.
Yeah.
I never been anywhere outside the U.S. before. So I had to, you know.
Yeah, I'm a travel junkie, so I really wanted to see the actual Bahamas, like the little Nassau town and the surrounding islands. It was so fun.
And then we ran into the Slippery When Wet guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. In one of the stores and in Nassau, we ran into them, or not them. It was like the lead guy.
It was Tim and the drummer guy. I remember that because the Chico impersonator brought up my hometown. I was like, what? Because I think he asked where we're from, and I told him that I'm from Calgary, and he starts talking about the Calgary Flames, and I'm like, nobody knows what Calgary is. How do you know?
Who was the one with the broken arm at the time?
He had a broken arm?
One of the guys. Oh, it was the bass player.
Oh, I was like, I don't remember that.
Yeah, and the Slippery band. He had like he was in a cast, remember? So like he really wasn't playing, but he acted like he was playing, because like his left arm wasn't able to, you know, finger pick or what. You know, I'm no musician, so what am I talking about? But like he was like just like doing this to his bass, but not really playing. And so they had like pre-record. Ash, how did you not know that? You saw the band like 5 times.
I did see him like 5 times. I was upset. Listen to me. I was upset that they didn't have a keyboardist. I was very upset.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
I was so upset.
Like Runaway or Bad Medicine without a keyboard.
Dude, I remember when we saw them inside the ship, and remember Matt came up to us. And he came up to us and was like, "Oh, how's it going?" And all I did was complain to him about how they didn't have a keyboardist. I was like, "They don't have a a keyboardist. What the hell? And he was like, do you like the show? I was like, yeah, I like it, but there's no keyboardist. Yeah. I was real upset about it, but they're good though. They're good though.
Yeah, they are really good.
So let's talk about the show. The second night, the set list for that was "We Got It Going On," which everybody doesn't like it, but I thought it was a great show opener. Oh, you guys missed it anyway, so you guys don't know what.
I didn't even miss.
I beat Angela and Ashley to the show. I was like near Obi's side, and then they met up with me after 3 songs or something.
I had to get a shower because I was beat up by the waves in the beach. I had sand in places I don't even want to talk about. So I had to get a shower, and that's my reason for why I was late. I missed 2 songs. It's okay.
Well, like they opened up with "We Got It Going On,"
Fine.
and I just thought that I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't, and then I started hearing that boom, 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 boom. You know, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And I would love it as a show opener for the Bon Jovi tour. I really would. It's one of those songs that really pumps you up. Like right, I even get my workouts with that song.
If they play it first and get it out of the way, I'll be okay with it.
Oh, you're not
I'm sorry, it's just not a good song.
I loved it. I think it's just a silly party song. Like it's just to dance to and have.
Yeah, if you take it for what it is. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I don't dance when it comes on, because I do. But.
And a fun moment, because I was front row for that show, too, was his teleprompter wasn't working. And John. So, like, yeah, John's. And so, like,
actually remember his own lyrics?
Yeah. And so, like, here, let me see if I can pull it up on my my phone here. I'll show it.
Oh, I missed something fun. No one told me about that.
Yeah, but, like, his teleprompter, here, I'll play the video, see if you guys can see it. Hold on. Okay. Let me go. I have it on. I posted it on Twitter earlier. Yes, give me a second. But yeah, so his teleprompter wasn't working, and he screwed up the first lyric.
Did he? I can't believe that.
And so like he gets like kind of pissy with the tech guy.
Oh goodness.
Okay. Hold on, me. Yeah, like you'll see him like point to like, he goes like this. Let me make sure. Let me find it.
I was too far back to notice that. I think.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. So here, give it about. I hate how touching my phone is sometimes.
Yeah, they make technology too complicated sometimes nowadays.
I'm getting to it. I'm just gonna let it play for a second. All right, you'll see in about like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see it. Did you do it?
It's coming.
Oh, he just looks. Okay.
Did I pass it? Or did you guys see it?
I didn't see it.
Okay, go to the Twitter video later and like go to like 42 seconds and you'll see it.
All right.
But so
stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
So, let me see what the other songs that were played during that show.
There was some good stuff. Like I put a spell on you.
Oh yeah. Oh, House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Born to Follow.
I miss Born to Follow. I'm forever mad about it because I love that song.
Everyday People.
That was so fun too.
Rock and Roll. I love. That's my favorite cover.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Bad Name, Whole Lot of Leaving, Lost Highway, Honky Tonk Woman.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then House of the Rising Sun.
I love that one. Yeah.
It's My Life. Born to Be My Baby. Superstition. Who Says? Bad Medicine. I thought Bad Medicine was so cool, though. I love that.
At one point,
he brought back the jukebox thing, didn't he? Or
I don't remember.
Or no, there was a solo, and they gave Lorenza Ponce the solo to a Who song, like Bob O'Reilly or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah.
And then they did Spell on You, Love Comes to Town, then Prayer. Go on, Ash.
Love Comes to Town is a good one. I got in trouble during this show. Oh my god, I just remembered. So I was kind of like in the back of the crowd, and I was like, well, I want to try and get closer. So I went to the side, and I like it was all open. Like there was just open. So I walked through the people, and then there was a spot right at the barricade on the right side of the stage. So I was like, okay. So I walked up to it, and I'm standing there, and I'm rocking out for a couple seconds, and someone taps me on the back, and it's security. And I was like genuinely confused. I was like, what did I do wrong? And the guy was like, it was so loud that he couldn't like talk to me. So he like starts pointing, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, what? And I realize I'm surrounded by the artists. Like Slippery When Wet guys are standing near me, and like all the other artists are like standing right next to me. And I was like, oh. And he like points to his like VIP or his like badge, and it says like the artist only. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I stumbled into the artist only section, went right up to the barricade. No one stopped me, and then I got in trouble. And the guy like basically kicked me out. Like he was, get out. And I was like, I'm just trying to watch the show, man. Like I didn't even notice the artist standing there.
That's
so anyway,
so funny.
the story of how I got in trouble.
See, one thing about that show though was he had the orange guitar set up, which he's only ever played that orange. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The orange guitar.
Yeah.
He only ever played that song for Runaway, I'll Sleep When I'm Dead, or Thorn in My Side.
You mean the red guitar?
No, the orange. There's an orange, unless you're colorblind.
I think I'm a little colorblind. It looks red to me. I know what guitar you're talking about.
So when I saw that guitar being set up on stage, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm hoping that, he either plays Thorn in My Side or Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't play any three of those songs. So that guitar just sat there. I'll Sleep When I'm Dead was an audible for that show, but he never played it.
Oh, so he must have had it there to be ready in case it was.
Yeah, but he never played it.
Mm.
So, and then let's talk about the best moment about that cruise.
The buffet.
The buffet. The photo with John.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the buffet.
I got it pulled up here because I knew it was coming.
Oh, Lord.
Look at that picture.
There's Angela.
Yeah.
I love the picture.
It's so good. No, it's my featured photo on Facebook.
That's actually my desktop picture.
Thanks.
Yeah, you guys should feel honored.
I posted it. I don't know, man. I just never posted it.
Ash is ashamed of us, Jamin. She's ashamed of us.
No, it's not that. It's just I don't know. I just like
guarantee was just talking to John.
I think it was such a personal thing for me that I didn't even care like who else saw it or who else knew. I was just like, it was such a personal moment for me. Yeah. I know for all of us it was, but I guess that's why I never posted about it. But I love telling the stories about it though. It was a good moment.
Yeah, it's such a fun moment.
I mean, it was like how, because there was four of us, and Angela, she really didn't care. She really didn't care. She knew that it was our moment with them.
She was happy for us. She wanted and she was gonna fight for us. Like she was like,
she was ready to like,
I'm gonna fight them.
Yeah.
Like, I think we could all share our own personal experience, but I think I was the first one that walked in. And I remember how, like, because they're always kind of rushed and stuff, but, like, I feel like we weren't rushed. And, like, we were all able to say what we wanted. And, like, I remember just shaking John's hand and just, like, thanking him over and over and, like, how much I appreciated his music, blah, blah, blah. And then I think Ash's story is my favorite one. I'll let her tell it.
Oh, I love telling this story. So what happened was, we knew that we only had a certain amount of time with him, and I kept saying to everybody like on the boat, like the whole fucking boat knew that I wanted to talk to him. Like I specifically had very specific things I wanted to say to him, and everybody was like, you're not going to get your time, there's no time, you have 2 seconds. So we came up with this plan, and the plan was that you guys were gonna go in first and like get your spots around him, and while you were doing that, I was gonna walk up to him first and say what I wanted to say, and then the trade-off was that I was going to go to the far side of the photo so you guys could stand next to him.
I was pretty adamant about that.
Yeah, everybody got what they wanted, right? I hope. You guys want to stand next to him. I wanted to talk to him, so it was a pretty good deal, and Angela didn't care, so it was whatever. But I just remember I remember jumping up and down like a lunatic trying to psych myself up to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I ran in there and I went up to him, and I remember I put my hand out just like as a reflex, and he grabbed my hand, and then he turned his head like he was gonna talk to one of you guys, and I was just like, no, I was just like, Jon, and he snapped his head back and looked at me, and then like I put my other hand out, and he just like grabbed it, and he's holding both of my hands, and we're like locked on each other's eyes. It was like, it was actually a little, it was intimidating. I tripped up for a second, but I just told him what I wanted to tell him, and I just said, I said, this is probably not verbatim, but I said something like, you know, your music means so much to me, and I said I'm following a dream, and I said your music reminds me who I am, and your music reminds me never to give up. And the whole time he's just looking at me dead on, like in the eyes. And there was, my favorite part about it was that there was a moment where I kind of stopped because I kind of got tripped up in my head, and I paused for a second, and in that second he could have tried to rush me or, you know, whatever, but he didn't, and he just kept looking at me and like waited, like patiently waited, because he knew, you could tell that I had something I was trying to get out and something more I wanted to say. And that the coolest thing to me is that he waited, and then I got the words, and then I said thank you, and then he said thank you, and then I said thank you again, and he said thank you again. It was kind of ridiculous how many times he said thank you, and then he just pulled me like under his arm, and it was magical. And then there was, my brain for 1 second was like, this is great, and then I was like, oh shit, wait,
Rob's coming with the camera.
I can't stand next to him in the photo, so I end up like crawling out from under his arm and pushing him, and I just go, Jon, no. What did I say? I just yelled
like
at
we
him.
had a pact or something.
Oh no, you're like, this is Jamin's spot. We got to switch, and then like Rob had to like.
I was like, I can't stand next to you in the photos. They got to stand next to you. And I remember, Jon goes, no, I said something like, we have a deal, we have a pact. They have to stand next to you in the photo. And I climbed out from under his arm and everything and yelled at him. And then Jon just goes, well, you can stand in front of me, just like that. And I was like, no, you don't understand. And that's the story of how I pushed him and yelled at him and poured my heart out to him all in the same moment. And it was amazing. It was an amazing moment.
Yeah, it was great. It was like long and short at the same time. Because I remember when you were talking to him, the photographer tried to tell you to turn around, but you and Jon both ignored him, and
Jon
like Ash and I were not going to say anything. So like,
I didn't hear him saying that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like ours,
at least twice.
I didn't even hear him. I didn't hear him. Jon didn't make any indication that he cared. If he did hear him, he was just looking at me.
He was just letting me talk. So that was really cool.
Yeah, credit to him for understanding that I was trying to have a moment with him. Like I really feel like there was just this really cool moment of understanding between artist and fan, and connecting that way, and what the music means to us.
And that's the thing too, is I think, you know, Jon realized how genuine and how, you know, especially because we're young fans too, you know, how genuine and diehards that we were. You know, I think he gave us more time than he typically does for each group, you know, like the 10-second thing, you know.
I mean, like, no offense to people who run up to him and like, oh, I love you, or want to hug him or whatever. Like, that's fine. That's what you want to do. But we all had a very
amazing experience,
specific thing we wanted to say. And I think he tuned into that. Like, I think he was like, oh, they want to talk about the music. They want to talk about the lyrics and something deeper than like, oh, I love you, you know. No offense to those people.
That's why I thought it was important for me to tell him that I love his writing, because that's what made me a diehard fan, is the lyrics and how they relate to my life and how they get me through things. So yeah, after the photo, it was my turn to say something, and I just blurted out, "Thanks, I love your writing, man." And like he like grabbed my hand and said thank you, looking into my eye, and it was like so genuine. Like it was like you could tell he actually meant the thank you. And I've been to celeb meetups and stuff before, and they sometimes they're just stand there like, yeah, okay. But Jon was like engaged. It was so cool.
He really was engaged.
Yeah, you've got to understand from their point of view too. Is like if you get told the same thing every single day, every single time, eventually you get tired of hearing it. But so the nice thing about us though is that he actually genuinely was appreciative of how thankful we were to be able to meet him and get a photo and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but do we have any other thing we want to share about the photo?
Ash almost fainted after.
I blacked out
yeah.
After. So what happened was, I after we were finished, it was like, okay, so the setup for people who don't know is there was like a curtain around him, and you walk through the curtain, and when we went through the back of the curtain, I don't know, man, the moment just took over me. Like, it was weird. It was like I was so brave when I talked to him, and the second we got away from him, it hit me, I guess, and I fell to my knees, dude, and I was just like on the ground, and I don't have a memory. I think I blacked out for a couple of seconds, legitimately, and the last thing I remember,
crying.
I wasn't crying, but I was like blacked out.
I think you were.
I remember.
I think it was Jamin.
I probably shed a tear or two.
One of you guys. It wasn't Angela. It wasn't me.
Crying. I just like freaked out. But like, I just remember I like came to, and there were like 5 guys standing over me with like water bottles. They're all trying to hand me water bottles. They're like, "Are you okay? Do you need water?" I was like, I think I actually said no. I think one of them was like, "Are you okay?" And I went, "No, I'm not." And I'm just happy that Jon didn't see that. I'm happy. I didn't want him to see me in my weird fan blackout moment. I was very brave when I spoke to him. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, we all did good. It was a great, I had that photo of all of us with him and stuff framed, and I look at that often and think, it was, I'm glad it was us that kind of were cabin mates and kind of hung out the entire cruise and stuff. I think that all brought us closer together too, and that's what's amazing about music is how a band can bring people like us so close together where we pretty much talk to each other almost every day.
Yeah, and
whether it's a message or tweeting or whatever.
Yeah.
It's amazing music is like that. So long story short, I always look at that picture of us together and just how thankful I am that I have you guys in my life.
Me too. Me too, buddy.
Yeah. It's
such a photo.
Fun moment, and I love the photo with the sun setting with the water in the background too, with the 4 of us.
The sunset, yeah.
The what?
There's like a sunset photo with like the water getting darker and the sun glowing over with us.
Yeah, and I was the one who opted for that photo. I was like, we should get a photo for the sunset, and like Angela, I think Angela was drunk in that picture.
No, she wasn't.
We weren't drunk yet. We got drunk after because we had another Betsy Gold show to go to, and I got drunk at that show.
Yeah, Angela was. Angela was drunk in that.
No,
picture.
She wasn't.
Yes,
no, she wasn't. Not yet.
I think she was just getting ready to get drunk.
Yeah.
But yeah, to bring it back. Oh yeah, I love that.
Probably my favorite photo of all was that. But I think one of my favorite things though was how everyone on the boat was a fan.
Oh yeah.
Like you just walk around, you can literally turn to a complete stranger and start a conversation about Bon Jovi, and they know everything that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Everything, and like detailed shit. Like you could be like, "Hey, remember on this DVD when Jon said this funny thing?" And they're like, "Oh yeah!" Like they just fucking knew. It was such a feeling of like, I don't know, like camaraderie and.
It was a boat full of diehard fans, and so I made so many friends from that cruise, and like other Runaway Tour events too. That's something so great about the Runaway Tours that that it's genuine diehards that are going to these because you're paying top dollar too. Mm-hmm. But like you make so many friends from these events and stuff.
That was one of the coolest things for me. Is that how you could literally talk to anyone on that boat about Bon Jovi, and they would know exactly what you're talking about.
And like you could like talk about like deep tracks, like "Woman in Love" and "Keep the," and people would like they would know that song, like because if you go to concerts and stuff, like you'd never know if you're gonna sit beside a diehard fan or a general fan,
Yeah, sure.
And so like sometimes like you'll end up being like in the first few rows of the show, and like people only know "It's My Life" and "Living on a Prayer." They don't know like "Roller Coaster" or "In These Arms."
Mm-hmm. And it's funny how we all have like certain things, I think we all share the same opinion on. It's really weird. Like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head specifically, but like someone will mention something and like everyone there will be like, oh yeah, or like, oh no, like everybody knew what you were talking about. And like same feeling about it. Like, oh man. And then just like they would play songs on the boat the whole time. They would play in the hallways.
Yeah,
and
they had
not only but they play the other artists who were playing the boat.
You know what we have to talk about though, for real?
The cheesecake.
The cheesecake. Yes. Yeah. That was like my favorite, like besides the Bon Jovi stuff, that was like my favorite time that we spent together. Like we would go it was like in the atrium and like it was
upstairs in like the Irish pub.
Yeah.
Restaurant.
Yeah, the Irish pub was cool. You guys were there longer than I was, but I was there at least 2 of the nights.
It'd be like 2 a.m. and like the 4 of us or some other Bon Jovi friends, we would like go up and grab like cheesecake. I remember I'd be like down in waters, but I remember we would eat cheesecake and watch, like they would always have like a Bon Jovi DVD going, like Crush Tour or Live from London or This Life Feels Right.
I mean, we talk about it.
What's that?
What?
You're breaking up.
I am?
Not anymore. You were.
Okay.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite memory with you guys besides the Bon Jovi stuff was, and we would do that like 2 or 3 times every night too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so fun. Yeah. There was some days where we were just so tired, but not even wanting to go to bed, and we were just chilling there, half asleep, and lazily talking to each other.
Yeah. Remember when we were all laying, like we were all trying to go to sleep in our room, and like none of us would like go to sleep.
We kept talking about like super deep track Bon Jovi stuff. And bringing up like David Bryan's solo albums, and Angela's probably just dying inside, asking us to shut up.
Well, she was in for.
She got us talking about other things like celebrity crushes and movies. And
I remember you have a very big crush on Taylor Swift. I remember talking about that.
Yeah,
still do. That's my girl.
Oh my god. I don't even want to tell people what conversation we were having.
There was a few different conversations. You guys brought up Taylor Swift a lot. I was like, okay, guys.
You need to listen to T Swizzle. You don't know. You're missing out.
I've listened. It's not for me.
It's not for you.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, James.
It's not my kind of music.
Put the music to the side. Just look at her.
I have my own crushes. I'm good there.
That's okay. So, but yeah, the buffet was really good.
Yeah.
The pizza, hamburgers. Do we want to say anything else about the cruise? Before the recording?
The day that we met John was the day the Titanic was sinking. And I remember, because we were in line to meet him, and they were playing the Celine Dion song. And I remember thinking,
terrible.
I was like,
my heart will go on.
Yeah.
And then I thought, why are they playing this on a cruise ship?
Yeah.
And then
that's the actual anniversary of the Titanic.
Someone was like, this is the day the Titanic sank. I was like, oh, fantastic. So
good to know. We're in the middle of the ocean.
It's good to know I'm in the middle of the ocean on a boat.
Well, actually, we were at Bay, so because John was there on the boat.
Yeah. John didn't want to go in the open ocean with us for good reason. So
maybe that's where we should end this recording. Was talking about John not. You know how many fans were pissed off that John was not staying on the boat?
I was pissed off at first, but then I remembered how fucking crazy Bon Jovi fans are, and I was like, okay. Like I
guy would not even be able to leave his room.
Dude, that's what the security guys were talking about. When I got on the story about me on the elevator with the guys from the boat, they were talking about that. The one guy was like, "Oh, could you imagine like you step on the boat and like you can't even walk around because people are just constantly coming up to you?" And I was like, I was a complete idiot and I had no idea what they're talking about. I was like, "What?" And they were like, "John," they were like, his life must be kind of hard because he can't ever do anything. And I was like, "Oh." I was like, yeah, I guess so. It's like, but like that was a thing that like the security people were talking about.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If he was to ever step foot out of his cabin room, everybody would just bombard him the entire time. He would never be able to get.
Dude, it would be horrible. Let's be honest. Like people are so full too. Like, oh, I wouldn't attack him. Like that's bullshit, dude. Like I've seen people around him. It would be insane.
Or just look at people during shows. You know, the girl that wanted to lick his tattoo would probably have her tongue ready.
It's not everyone. It's just like the crazy fans are the ones who would ruin. I hate saying that, but like, there's some people who would ruin it. You know,
there is truth to that.
There's so much that has been ruined through the years, you know, like side pit stages during shows or
so awesome.
The circle pit, you know.
Oh, that's one of the things that okay, speaking of, that's Obi told a story during the Matt and Obi show. I love calling it that, Matt and Obi show. But Obi told the story. Somebody asked him that question. They asked him why they didn't have the circle or the side thing, whatever you're just talking about. They asked him why they didn't have that anymore. Yeah. And he said what had happened was there was it was when they sat fans on the stage. That's what it was. And he said there was a woman, an older woman, who at a certain point they would ask them to get off the stage, and she didn't want to go. She wanted to stay. And he said that, I don't know if he was embellishing or not, but according to him, this woman like took a swing at him, and that was kind of like the end of that. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's always been fans that have like, if you look, because it started back in the 90s, you know, every tour there'd always be fans that would jump out of the side pit and like go grab John. I think the Lost Highway tour was the last time they ever did those side pit stages, and that girl from Punchtown, she jumped John Dern in these arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then look at
who like hang on, like literally climbed onto him.
Yeah. And then look at the circle pit stage during the circle tour in 2010 and 11. Even in 2013, I remember fans would just be like grabbing them and like even jumping on the stage. It was crazy.
I was not in the pit, but like the first row just outside the pit. And John was singing to me, and I forget what city it was or whatever, but there was a woman inside the pit on the other side who was like wrapping something around his leg. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen, because I didn't even see it. Like I'm looking up at him, and he like slams his foot down, like shakes his whole leg, and I was like, what the fuck? And I looked down and I see her doing this, and he was trying to shake her off of him, and I was like, what the hell, dude? What are you doing? Like it was
people are so weird. And like people are like grabbing his ass and stuff, or like rubbing his thighs. Like, you know how awkward that must be, that a complete stranger is touching you while you're trying to perform in front of thousands of people.
Well, people
that like get off. Like, I would brush them off.
I'm like afraid.
I remember the one time he almost got tripped. I think it was at one of the New Jersey MetLife shows, and some girl grabbed him by the ankle, and he almost tripped.
Dude, and then that's like a whole other tangent, but there's a whole argument people try and say like, oh, you know, he's asking for it, and he's a celebrity guy who wants attention, and he wants people to grab him, and I'm like,
no, he doesn't.
It's
all about respect, you know. It's like if you see them on the street, you know, you can approach them like a crazy fan and they'll probably run away from you. Mm-hmm. Or B, act like a normal human being, treat them like a human being, and you're going to get a good experience, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, it's like the fans who say they've had terrible experiences. Well, that's probably because you acted crazy.
Probably.
Yeah. So I'm going to end the recording here. We can still chat and stuff, but I'm going to end the recording just because it's over an hour long. I don't know how long videos can upload to YouTube.
Are you gonna edit it?
Probably not. No.
No. Oh God.
One thing I want to say before the recording ends is this is the actual anniversary of the day we all met John together that we're recording.
Yep. Yes, and also not only is it that, but it's the 2-year anniversary of when they got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Oh,
isn't that insane?
That is.
The time is going so fast.
So every year now, we have to Skype every year.
Okay.
Right. Let me stop this recording and we can still talk, okay?
Yeah.
Say bye.
Bye. Oh, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.